Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Woody Allen. Trigger warning, this is going to be about molestation, child abuse. So let's get into it. So there has been a new documentary that is coming out called Allen versus Farrow. And it sheds light on the whole situation between Mia Farrow and Woody Allen. Through one famous couple's story, the film takes a hard look at how society treats people in power and those who accuse them of abuse. The 4-part series begins Sunday on HBO and HBO Max. And this is going to get real nasty, y'all. I'm telling you, this situation has been nasty for years. And I feel like Woody Allen has gotten away with a lot. Just like Bill Cosby did, just like Harvey Weinstein did. For decades, they get away with so much. By the time they're old enough and they get caught, they've already spent and lived a good life. That by the time they get to prison, they're put in a prison where they get to sit down and watch TV and have coffee and relax all day like it's a damn spa. After they have done these horrible, disgusting things all their life. And it's ridiculous. So in 1992, American filmmaker and actor Woody Allen was accused by his adoptive daughter, Dylan Farrow, then aged 7, of having sexually molested her in the home of her adoptive mother, actress Mia Farrow, in Connecticut. Allen has repeatedly denied the allegation. When the allegation was made, Allen and Mia Farrow had been in a 12-year relationship and had 3 children together, 2 adopted, Dylan and Moses, and 1 biological child, Satchel, now known as Ronan Farrow. The sexual abuse is alleged to have taken place 8 months after Farrow learned that Allen had a romantic relationship with another of her adoptive daughters, Soon Yi Previn, and I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce this right. Soon Yi Previn married Allen in 1997. Previn was a first-year undergraduate and 21 years old when Farrow found out about the relationship. Allen alleged that the relationship prompted Farrow to concoct the molestation allegation as an act of vengeance. The Connecticut State's attorney investigated the allegation but did not press charges. The Connecticut State Police referred Dylan to a child abuse clinic of Yall, New Haven Hospital, which concluded that Allen had not sexually abused Dylan and the allegation was likely coached or influenced by Mia Farrow. The New York Department of Social Services found no credible evidence to support the allegation. Now, what I want to say is, let's find out what Ronan Farrow is saying now that now that they're older. Now that this child is older and is an adult, let's see what they have to say. Because a lot of times, like back then, when allegations would be made and the alleged abuser would be accused, because if they had money, they could get away with it. Even if they didn't have money, sometimes they could get away with it if they didn't have enough proof. And that's what sucks, is these children will tell their parents, and then they're not believed by nobody. You know, and that sucks. That's so horrible. You know, and that's why when I heard Eugenia Cooney say that crap about, well, you shouldn't say anything if you don't have proof. You should say something. If you can, if you feel okay and safe enough, you should tell somebody. Find a comfortable person that you can talk to and tell. And, you know, of course, be careful. Always be careful. But tell someone, even if it's 20 years later, tell someone, because you can prevent that person from hurting someone else by telling. No, the abuser may not get arrested, but you can still spread the word, just like we have about Davi Vanity. Before anybody said anything about Davi Vanity, he had access to hundreds of thousands of victims. Once these stories started coming out from the survivors, the victims, when the survivors started talking, then people started looking at Davi in a different way. And it's like, okay, don't go near that one. Don't mess with that one. So he's not able to hurt as many people as he was. So always speak out if you can. You know, we will support you. In response to the allegation, Allen sued Farrow for sole custody of Dylan, Satchel, and Moses. He lost the case in June of 1993 though the judge agreed that the allegation of sexual abuse had not been proven. Visitations with Dylan were suspended for 6 months until she recovered from what she had suffered during the initial custody case. While Allen was given limited supervised visitation with Satchel and Moses as a teenager, was allowed to decide for himself. The decision was upheld on appeal in 1994 and 1995. 2025. Dylan has repeated the allegations several times as an adult. There you go. And let's give a clap for Dylan, for Ronan. Let's praise them for speaking up as an adult, because you don't know how hard it is to speak up as a child. But even as an adult, it's so hard to come out with your story, especially when your parent is a celebrity. Even if your parent isn't a celebrity, but especially if they are, because 9 times out of 10, a celebrity is going to be believed over anyone else because they have fans. Their fan base is going to support them through everything. Sometimes you could even see video proof of this celebrity doing very bad things, and their fan base will still make excuses for them. We see that to this day. It's crazy. Okay, Dylan has repeated the allegation several times as an adult, although with modifications of Mia's 1992 narrative. Her first public comment was in an interview with Maureen Orth for Vanity Fair in 2013, followed by an open letter in the New York Times 2014 and the Los Angeles Times in December 2017. Allen has also spoken publicly about the allegation in an interview with Gayle King for CBS, in New York Times, and in 2018 in a statement to CBS News, each time denying it. Mia is accused of child abuse by 2 of her children, Moses and Soon Yi, who also accuse her of false allegations and of brainwashing Dylan. In 2018 letter, Moses, who felt in charge of carefully watching Dylan the afternoon she was allegedly molested, and who was 14 at the time, explains in detail why he believes the allegation is false, and describes his forced support of Mia as the biggest mistake of his life. He tweeted, "So many times I saw my mother try to convince her that she was abused, and it worked." This is so, mixed. Just so mixed up. I have to reread this. Hold on a minute. I got to reread this again. Okay, so in an interview, Dylan Farrow broke down in tears in her first televised interview and said she wishes her father, director Woody Allen, had been charged with assaulting her. "He's lying, and he's been lying for so long," she said after watching a clip of a 1992 60 Minutes interview in which Allen denied abusing her. "It is difficult for me to see him and hear his voice." Farrow, 32, sat down with Gayle King for an interview that aired on CBS this morning on Thursday and provided graphic details about how Woody Allen allegedly sexually assaulted her when she was 7 years old. So apparently, the brother, Dylan Farrow, doesn't believe that his sister was assaulted. Because on Wikipedia it says Dylan has repeated the allegation several times as an adult, although with modifications of Mia's 1992 narrative. And it says, explains in detail why he believes the allegation is false and describes his forced support of Mia as the biggest mistake of his life. He tweeted, "So many times I saw my mother try to convince her that she was abused, and it has worked." But Dylan says, "I want to show my face and tell my story. I want to speak out," literally. Farrow has talked about sexual assault before in an interview with Vanity Fair and 2014, but her comments on Thursday marked the first time she detailed the assault in a televised interview. I'm getting tongue-tied, sorry. Allen has consistently denied the allegation and was not charged. Investigators concluded at the time that Farrow had not been abused, which covered the custody proceedings after Allen filed for custody of his 3 children with Mia Farrow in 1992. Farrow said she loved and respected her father and considered him her hero before he molested her in her mother's home on August 4th, 1992. She told King that Allen took her to an attic crawl space while her mother was out shopping, instructed her to lay on her stomach and play with her brother's toy train while he sat behind her in a doorway and assaulted her. As a 7-year-old, I would say, Dylan says, "As a 7-year-old, I would say he touched my private parts, which I did say. As a 32-year-old, he touched my labia and my vulva with his finger. At the time, Allen insisted that his daughter had been coached to lie by her mother, who discovered months earlier that Allen was having an affair with her adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn. Allen and Previn had been married since 1997. Now, here's my thing. If Mia Farrow wanted to make this up, I think she would have made it up as soon as she found out about the affair, not months later. I mean, but guys, come on, at the same time, the fact that he was having an affair with his adoptive daughter and then married her and started a family of their own when she was 21, that's so gross, because this is someone who was supposed to be his child. This was their child. She lived in their home. I mean, just to know that he was looking at her in that way for all that time, and you know he was, y'all. Come on, we can't even sit here and say, well, maybe he just all of a sudden one day when she was 21, he just felt like she was cute. And no, he had these feelings for her for some time before he approached it. We know this. We're not dumb. And it's so disgusting to know that they all lived together as a family and he was grooming her. And because they had an affair. And this was not something that was just made up. No, they had an affair. They got married. They moved out together. They are together. They have their own family. And Hollywood just lets it go. They just sweep it under the rug. The fans, to me, it's one thing that Hollywood lets it go, but it's another that the judicial system just lets it go. Who cares if he has millions of fans? A 7-year-old is telling you this person hurt me. It should be investigated whether he's the president of the United States or if he's just working at the McDonald's. It doesn't matter what his job is. He should be investigated to the extent fully. But that didn't happen because he's Woody Allen, of course. That would be, well, just like when the Bill Cosby allegations came up. Everybody was like, no, man, I grew up watching Bill Cosby. They found their duck toy. If y'all gonna watch my videos, I hope y'all can get used to that sound because that's all my dogs want to play with is that duck toy. And I bought it for them, so it's my fault. But, we watched The Cosby Show. When I was a kid, we always watched The Cosby Show. Don't be ugly to each other now. Tuck, tuck. Bella, be nice. You share the duck. Share it. Be nice. But we watched The Cosby Show, and to think that all through that whole filming of that show, before and after, A Different World and Fat Albert and all these shows that Bill Cosby did, he was drugging and assaulting, raping women. People that he was mentoring, women who looked up to him, women who also grew up watching him, women who were getting into acting, and he would tell them, I can help you build your career. I can help you, get friends in this industry. I can be your mentor, and I can guide you in the right direction. And then they wake up, and he's raping them. He's drugged them and doing this to them. Just like Harvey Weinstein, meet me at my hotel, and I can tell you some friends and connections, and the next thing these women know is he's stripping off his robe and demanding they touch him. And if they don't do it, you'll never work in this town again. You'll never work in this country again. You'll be blacklisted. You will never become an actress if you don't do this right now. And these women are forced into this. Or they leave and they're blacklisted. Or they tell and they're blacklisted. Either way, they lose. All because of this abuser. The victim is going to lose either way. When they say anything, it sucks because we should be in a society now where we should be supporting victims, survivors, and making them understand and feel loved and supported and like they can come out and tell us anything and we got their back. But that's not what happens. What happens is the stands and the fan base and the judicial system just, that was Harvey Weinstein. Well, that was just Bill Cosby. He does that. That's how it gets made. That was Dobby Vanity. You know how he likes to joke around and grab on somebody's butt and force his you-know-what in their mouth. That's how society has normalized this. They just say, oh, well, that was just such and such. That's what they do. No, that is not normal. That is not just what people do. So, let's see what else she had to say. On Thursday, and this was an older article I'm reading, okay? On Thursday, Allen released a statement through a representative saying when this claim was first made more than 25 years ago, it was thoroughly investigated by both the Child Sexual Abuse Clinic of Yall Hospital and the New York State Child Welfare. I doubt very seriously it was fully investigated because of who he was. I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that I doubt it was, because I know that when I had a friend when I was in school and this person made claims on somebody kind of big in our town, it wasn't investigated. My friend was told to keep his mouth closed and quit lying, because this person was a higher up, an elder who was higher up in the town, and nobody would believe him. And later on, years later, this higher up person had lots of victims who came forward and nobody would believe them. When you start getting a handful of people telling the same story and who have never met each other, and they all had the same almost type experience with this one person, you better start believing. Something's going on. They both did for many months and independently concluded that no molestation had ever taken place. The statement continued, instead they found it likely a vulnerable child had been coached to tell the story by her angry mother during a contentious breakup. Allen also mentioned Farrow's older brother, Moses, who has accused his mother of brainwashing him as a child. In 2014, he said, Mia Farrow drummed it into me to hate my father for tearing apart the family and sexually molesting my sister. And it's sad for Moses, too. You know, you have to think, this family has been ripped to pieces. But when Woody Allen married Sun Yi, even if let's just say for an example that Mia Farrow did and was brainwashing the kids, he still was having an affair with his adoptive daughter, who he was raising. He was still having an affair with his child, even if she was at that time 21. We don't know how long it went on before that. We know that he was eyeballing her because he was having an affair with her, and he eventually married her. So he was grooming her and eyeballing her for some time before he did marry her. And what gets me is that doesn't rip the family apart. But they all attack Mia Farrow and Dylan for coming out with these allegations. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like this makes no sense. But the family doesn't get torn apart because he married his adoptive daughter and he had an affair with his adoptive daughter. That doesn't rip the family. They don't care about that. It's like, oh, but Mia said this and Dylan said that to ruin his reputation, and we're mad. But you can't blame and I ain't talking about the kids. I'm talking about all the in-laws and the fans and the judicial system and, the adults of the family. The kids cannot be blamed. The kids have nothing to be sorry for. They didn't do anything wrong. And what's sad is the children suffer from this stuff. But even though the Farrow family is cynically using the opportunity afforded by the Time's Up movement to repeat this discredited allegation, that doesn't make it any more true today than it was in the past. Allen's statement reads, I never molested my daughter, as all investigations concluded a quarter of a century ago. Now, Mia's brother, Ronan, helped kick off the Me Too and Time's Up movements after he reported on allegations of sexual misconduct by powerful producer Harvey Weinstein over decades. Ronan Farrow defended his sister in a guest column for The Hollywood Reporter. I believe my sister. Ronan wrote in 2016 column, this was always true as a brother who trusted her and even at 5 years old was troubled by our father's strange behavior around her. Okay. So now we not only have Dylan, who remembers, we also have Ronan, who was right there. And even though he was a little younger, can still remember. Y'all can't sit here and tell me that, oh, you can't remember at 5 years old, because I remember being molested at 4 years old. In a barn, on a freezer. I remember it by a family friend. So you cannot tell me that people cannot remember being 4 years old. Because traumatic events, yes, you can. I remember when I was 3 years old, I had gotten spinal meningitis, and I was shipped on a helicopter from one hospital to Chapel Hill in North Carolina, and I remember parts of that helicopter ride. So let's not even come at me and say that there's no way Ronan can remember being 5 years old, because yes, you can. Some people can remember more than that. But you especially can remember traumatic events or things that were just weird or happy, exciting events. I can even remember TV shows from when I was 5. I remember being terrified of Alf when I was like 5 years old. 5. I was scared to death of Alf because he ate cats. And I loved cats. And I never watched Alf again, except for like accidentally walking by the TV or seeing it on YouTube. But I was terrified of Alf. I believe my sister, Ronan wrote in 2016, this was always true as a brother who trusted her, and even at 5 years old was troubled by her father's strange behavior around her, climbing into her bed in the middle of the night, forcing her to suck his thumb, behavior that prompted him to enter into therapy focused on his inappropriate conduct with children prior to the allegations. So Ronan is over here saying, well, Dad had my sister sucking on his thumb. He was climbing into her bed. Disgusting. In December, Dylan Farrow asked in an opinion piece published by the LA Times why Allen has not suffered the same fate as other powerful men in Hollywood accused of sexual misconduct. The now married Farrow is a mother of 16-month-old daughter, said it has been momentous for her to witness so many people come forward with their own stories, with so much silence being broken by so many brave people against so many high-profile people. I felt it was important to add my story to theirs because it's something I've struggled with for a long time. Man, it really makes you think, like, you think a celebrity's lifestyle is so great and so awesome, and yes, they have more money, but then you start to realize they are just like us. And that's what I tell everybody else. They can be just as good or bad as we are. They go through the same ups and downs as we do. They live on the same earth that we do, using the same electricity that we do, drinking the same water. You can relate to a celebrity just as much, but you can't sit here and think because somebody has more money than you that they can't do anything bad, because that's just not true. That's just not true. So let's see here. This question says, did Woody Allen adopt Soon-Yi? In 1977, the law was changed. In 1978, Farrow and her then husband, Andre Previn, adopted Soon-Yi and took her to the United States. Allen later adopted 2 of Farrow's adoptive children, Dylan and Moses. Wait, so did Mia Farrow have Soon-Yi before she got with Woody? So how old was Soon-Yi? Okay, let's go back. We got to find this out right quick. When did Woody Allen get with Mia Farrow? When did Woody Allen get with Mia Farrow?
According to Q13 Fox, Allen has had a 20...
Okay. So at this point, Allen and Soon-Yi have been together for 22 years. According to Rolling Stone magazine, Allen and Farrow's 12-year partnership came to an end in 1992 after it was revealed that he and Soon-Yi had been having an affair, a sexual relationship. What I want to know is, how long was Soon-Yi in the home before they had the affair? How long were him and Mia together? Okay, let me find this out. When did I got it. 1980. Woody Allen and Mia Farrow began a 12-year relationship in 1980, during which Farrow starred in 13 of his films. They maintained separate apartments in Manhattan throughout the relationship. Farrow on Central Park, Allen Fifth Avenue, and did not marry. They both had been married twice before. So if that was 1980, and he married Soon-Yi in 1997, They got together. They busted up in like 1992. So I want to find out. Let me go right here. Let's hold on 1 minute. Let me see something. So here's what doesn't make sense to me. If Mia was going to lie and coach her kids, why wouldn't she have done it as soon as she found out about the affair? Because this is saying this was some time after she found out about the affair when she reported the abuse. On August 4th, 1992, Allen visited his children at Farrow's country home in Connecticut while Farrow and a friend went shopping. Farrow and Allen were to sign an agreement where Allen would pay $6,000 a month for support of Dylan, Satchel, and Moses. Farrow's lawyer said on August 4th, Farrow called him to suspend the processing of the agreement. Present in the house, once Farrow had left, were Dylan, Satchel, and Farrow's babysitter, Christy. The children's French tutor, Sophie, Farrow's friends, 3 children, and Farrow's friend's babysitter, Allison Strickland. When Farrow left the house, Moses, according to her, was off by himself taking a walk. Moses claims he was in the house when Allen arrived. The day after the visit, Strickland told her employer that she had seen Allen kneel on the floor in front of Dylan, then age 7, and with his face in her lap, turned downward towards Dylan's body. She testified to that during a custody trial. She seen Woody Allen kneel on the floor in front of Dylan with his face in her lap, turned toward Dylan's body. But the judge did not believe that and didn't believe it was describing any kind of abuse. Dylan allegedly told Farrow what happened and that she had not liked it. So Farrow telephoned her attorney. She was advised to take Dylan to her local pediatrician, and she did so. Okay, so the pediatrician didn't do anything. According to the expert Farrow hired, Farrow had videotaped Dylan answering her questions before the second visit to the pediatrician, and Dylan had made the allegation of abuse in fits and starts, and in a way that set a tone for a child about how to answer. And Dylan Farrow told that she had been with Allen in the attic, and that he had touched her private parts. The following day, they returned to see Cavarian, and Dylan repeated the allegation. So Cav then informed the authorities, although he said he found no physical evidence of the molestation. So, let's see. Soon Yi Previn was born October 8th, 1970. So, Woody Allen and Mia Farrow got together in 1980. So she would have been 10 years old when they got together. She married Woody Allen in 1997. And her children have his last name, so they must be his children, Beckett and Manzi T.O. Allen. That is so weird. When you go on Soon Yi's page on Wikipedia, oh my gosh, it's so weird because it says spouse Woody Allen, parents Mia Farrow. Mia Farrow was Woody Allen's wife and Soon Yi's mother. Siblings Dylan Farrow, Ronan Farrow, Moses Farrow, Lark Song. It's just so messy. Okay, so in 1992, if she was born in 1970, they divorced in like 1991. I'm guessing. So how old was she when they started the affair? Hold on. How old was Soon Yi when she started having an affair with Woody Allen? Damn, Woody Allen's 85? Jeez. They claim that the affair began shortly before Farrow found nude photos of her in Allen's apartment when he was 56 and she was a 20-year-old college freshman. Y'all, I'm sorry, but I don't believe it. They just started it when she was 21. There's just something about this icky man that's telling me, I'm sorry, but there's just something telling me that he's He's always been like that dirty old man type, or dirty old woman type. It ain't just men who do this. But something tells me that Woody Allen has, and I'm alleging, again, I have to say that, but something tells me that he has had this icky, pedo, foul type of behavior with these kids, with these people, and it is just gross. So here's my thing. So he raised Soon Yi for like 12 years before he had nude photos of her, because it says he got with Mia Farrow in 1980. So if he got with Mia Farrow in 1980, then, Soon was 10 years old. She was born in 1970. He was messing with her in 1992, so he raised this girl for like 12 years and then started having an affair with her? When did Woody Allen live with Soon Yi? Soon Yi. Oh, that's where she talks about Woody Allen. That is so yucky. He raised her for like 12 years. The 62-year-old Academy Award-winning writer. And it sucks because he has this legacy. We're giving the wrong people these amazing legacies. We're making the wrong people famous. I've been saying this for so long. I'm going to make myself a t-shirt that says that. We're making the wrong people famous, or we've made the wrong people famous. Oh, have y'all heard about that whole Natalie Wood thing coming out? Everybody's talking about what really happened to Natalie Wood. And we're going to cover that one too. Because there's a whole situation to that deal. Very weird. Well, if the calculations are right, and this is saying that Soon Yi was born in 1970, she moved in with Woody Allen as an adoptive daughter at 10 years old in 1980. Sometime, they claim, after about 12 years, they started having an affair when she was about 21, and he has nude photos of her. This is like in 1992, and Mia Farrow finds them and is like, hey, what the heck's going on here? And then the allegations start coming out later on. But I think if Mia Farrow was going to brainwash her kids and coach them into making allegations, I think she would have done that as soon as she found out about those two having an affair. I mean, but why is everybody okay with him marrying a child that he raised for 12 years anyways? That is disgusting. Blood or not, let me tell you something. Blood don't make you family, y'all. Blood does not make you family. Being a family is what makes you family. And when you're looking at your child as a sex object, that's pedo foul. That's predatory type behavior. That's yucky. He's an icky man. And I just hope that he has not been allowed to do it to their kids. I hope that he has not been allowed to be alone with anyone else's kids. But unfortunately, people like Woody Allen and Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein are considered mentors. So a lot of times they will be left alone with children, teenagers, minors, and other young adults. And vulnerable people, who look up to them. That's what Bill Cosby did for years. Bill Cosby had people who looked up to him, and he would target those women, and he knew they were vulnerable. He knew they were desperate for a good job in the acting career. He knew what they needed, what they wanted, and he used that as a way to get sex from them. But with the ones who he wasn't, quite sure, he would drug. If he wasn't quite sure he could, get them in the sack willingly, he would drug them. He drugged many of them just because. We're going to talk about Bill Cosby because I've been holding out on that because it's just such a touchy subject, because that's what happened to me some years ago. I was drugged and date raped, and it's hard to talk about any of this stuff, but it's especially hard to talk about that case because some of their stories are so relatable with me and so real. It's the privacy, the RAPE, and what they take from you when they do that. They take something so precious from you. Do y'all not realize that when you drug someone, you could possibly kill them? You could possibly cause an overdose, allergic reaction. You could possibly stop their breathing. You can't just drug people. And that's what Bill Cosby and many of these people who use the date rape drug don't understand or don't care about, whatever their reason may be. They don't care about the fact that they could kill someone by administering the date rape drug. You can't just give people drugs like that. It's very, very dangerous. Look at how many people have been given a drug in a hospital by a doctor and they've had an allergic reaction and died. Or they went home when they got something prescribed and they had an allergic reaction and almost died or died. You can't just drug people. Bad things can happen. And I'm surprised that nobody was ever overdosed with Bill Cosby. But we don't know. You never know. I mean, you really never know what's happened in the celebrities' past like this. But like I said, there's a documentary called Allen versus Farrow, I think is what it's called, and everybody's raving about it right now. Check it out. I think if it ain't come out already, it's supposed to be like Sunday. But go on Twitter. So many people are talking about it. Oh, hold on. Before we go, let me read some tweets. Okay, this says, Allen versus Farrow is not a documentary. It's an op-ed piece and a toast to Mia, who gives the performance of her life worthy of an Oscar. And Mia's got a lot of support that she didn't have back then. A lot of people back then, they just ignored her. They called her a liar. They called her children liars. So many people, including celebrities, tried to blacklist Mia. They tried their best to push her out, and it didn't work. And here's my point. Her kids are grown now. And I know the one child is saying that he doesn't believe it, but these other two are still standing by their word. And they're still saying what they said back then. And again, Woody Allen married a child that he raised for 12 years. So it's not looking good for Allen, but... So someone tweeted, I'm going to say this and everyone can come at me, but I believe Dylan Farrow, Allen versus Farrow. When does it premiere? This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I read the headline as Alien versus Farrow and I thought, this franchise is going in a strange direction. I'm so excited about Allen vs. Farrow, I was literally screaming watching the trailer. Allen vs. Farrow, a new HBO docuseries, details allegations of grooming and child sexual abuse against Woody Allen and features interviews with Dylan Farrow, Mia Farrow, and more. Having finished Allen vs. Farrow, I did what everyone should do after watching that devastating HBO doc. I watched, by the way, Woody Allen is Innocent, the thoroughly researched 2.5-hour video essay by At Blood of the Land. I'm now laying in a fog of what the fuck. And then they shared the link there. It's called, By the Way, Woody Allen is Innocent. Kathleen Madigan tweeted, what's everybody binge watching? Feel like my parents. I've seen everything out. And hit me back. And then someone says that Allen Farrow documentary looks promising. Premieres February 21st. 4 parts. So that's actually tomorrow. I'm going to be checking that out. Everybody else saying they can't wait to see it. Inside Amy Ziering and Kirby Dix Explosive with their... Okay, that's something else. Okay, having heard about some of the new allegations presented in HBO's documentary miniseries, Allen vs. Farrow, I would like to take a moment to publicly apologize for playing the lead role of celebrity journalist Lee Simon in the 1998 Celebrity. That was Will Sloan. Wow, everybody's talking about it. They're all showing pictures of back in the day. Like, a lot of people are talking about it. I'm definitely going to check it out tomorrow. The HBO's Allen vs. Farrow drops February 21st. It's one hell of a shattering piece, important especially in the light of recent Britney Spears doc. Whedon reveals, etc. The Joss Whedon situation. Y'all, I knew that one was coming because when Ray Fisher came out last year and said that he was having issues with Joss Whedon on the set, I knew it was coming from the Buffy cast. I'm telling you, these celebrities are not who y'all think they are. We have to stop idolizing these celebrities like they're gods or something, because they're not. Some of them are very talented. Okay, some of them are so talented they make a ton of money. Some of them, some of them seem to be down to earth, some seem humble, but we cannot base somebody's personality on a song they wrote 20 years ago. We can't base somebody's personality and behavior on a movie they wrote or starred in 10 years ago. That's not who they are. That's a character they're playing. We can't sit here and say, well, I loved his music when I was a teenager. There's no way he RAPED'd that girl. We can't say that. We don't know if he did or he didn't RAPED that girl. We weren't there. We have to listen to what the survivors and the situation says. But we can't sit here and take up for these people when they're accused of these things just because we like some of their music or their clothes or makeup or their movies and whatnot. They can do bad things too, y'all. You have to realize that. Celebrities are just like we are. They can make very bad decisions. They can be predatory. They can be just as evil as Ted Bundy and anyone else. Oh, we're going to talk about Ted Bundy too. And Ted Bundy's fans, these stans of his, they get on my nerves. Let's see. Someone said, unless Mia Farrow is approving of the final edit of this documentary, I'm going to wait and see it because I respect her immensely and will only believe her side. I agree with that because, true. Allen versus Farrow is harrowing, enlightening. Don't trot out any of those he said, she said, or it's just one big messed up family observations until you've watched the whole thing. This is going to be, y'all, I'm telling you. Hey, you know what would be crazy? After all these years of Woody Allen starring in all these big hit movies and writing all these movies, what if this is like his biggest hit and his downfall at the same time? What if it's so devastating that this is what he's going to be known for, is Allen versus Farrow? I have to believe the kids, though. I mean, the kids are standing by their story. They're standing by it. I mean, when he says that he was 5 and he watched his father get in a bed with his sister and he watched his father make his sister suck his thumb, and she tells the same story, and then we have his father who has married his child that he's raised for 12 years since she was 10 years old. I believe the kids. And what's scary, what if Woody Allen was grooming Soon Yi since she was 10 years old? What if he was grooming her since he got with Mia Farrow? There are a lot of times where an abuser will only date a person because they are interested in their kids. Yes, that happens. There are times where predators will see an adult with children, or they'll find out that let's just say that we have